Welcome to the debate. Our focus today is on a piece of source material that I think cuts straight to the heart of modern professional life. It's this assertion that most people use technology wrong, which, well, it results in a state of what the material calls digital chaos.
Right, and we're talking about things everyone experiences. Email overload, messy file storage, and, of course, the classic problem of using weak passwords everywhere.
Exactly. And so the core tension, the real question for us, is how do we get out of this chaos and toward digital mastery? Where does the burden of correction actually lie?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to maintain that the solution is primarily an internal one. It's personal. The material highlights these preventable mistakes that really can only be solved by adopting structured individual habits, the 3 smarter habits they talk about. We need to improve our own IT literacy.
And I'm going to argue that while habits, of course, matter, the sheer scale of the failure, the fact that we're talking about most people, is a profound indictment of the technology itself. The failure is rooted in systemic design choices that just maximize user friction. To achieve mastery, we need systemic change, not just individual heroics.
So look, the material meticulously outlines these common digital failures, and they're not exotic or highly technical mistakes. They're fundamental operational errors. I mean, they show that we have these incredibly powerful tools, cloud storage, sophisticated email clients, and yet users are still failing to use them with any real intention.
Right.
The problem, as the source material itself frames it, is that we need a smarter way of using them. This implies the tools are adequate. The execution is what's lacking. The promised outcomes, improved productivity, digital well-being, those are direct results of individual behavioral change. We're tasked with implementing those 3 smarter habits. We can't just wait for some mythical perfect technology to save us. We have to take agency. So I see why you think the tools are failing, but the evidence, for me, points directly to a lack of individual execution. It's a literacy issue, not a design deficiency.
I'm sorry, I just don't buy that. Let me tell you why. Focusing purely on habits is asking the average user to constantly swim against this incredibly powerful current of systemic friction. I mean, think about it. If 80% of users are consistently getting something wrong, you don't blame the users, you redesign the interface. The material even has a section called Why Tools Fail People, which acknowledges the architecture itself is enabling chaos. Just look at email overload. The default settings and, almost every major client are geared toward constant notification, constant aggregation. They're optimized for developer ease or maybe corporate engagement, not user focus. So it requires this extraordinary constant cognitive overhead for a user to impose, say, an inbox zero system, which is one of those smarter habits, because the system is actively fighting you. The system should guide us toward productivity with smart defaults, not require us to become software architects just to manage our inbox. The environment is fundamentally flawed, and that flaw makes chaos the path of least resistance.
Latable failures mentioned, poor file storage. Now, you frame this as a lack of discipline, a failure to apply one of those 3 smarter habits. And, on the surface, that sounds correct. Organizing data has always been a human responsibility. Whether it's physical files or cloud storage, we can't just abdicate the necessity of creating a logical system. Achieving real IT literacy demands that discipline. It's about the intentional decision of where to place a piece of information so it can be found later. That's a skill that transcends any single platform. It's about mental rigor.
But that line of reasoning, it really minimizes the cognitive load that modern systems impose. That's a compelling argument based on, traditional methods, but have you considered that if storage systems were intuitively designed to prevent entropy, poor file storage would be way less common?
How so?
Well, modern cloud drives are they're massive, unstructured data pools. They rely on these rigid, often redundant folder hierarchies that force users to make complex, arbitrary decisions all the time. Does this memo go in the Project X folder or the 2024 Clients folder? And when you're faced with that friction, what do? You default to saving it on the desktop or in a catch-all downloads folder.
Okay.
If the technology mandated or even just strongly encouraged non-hierarchical methods like, say, enforced metadata tagging that automatically groups files based on context, the organization would be built in. The chaos exists because the environment lacks strong organizational defaults. The system is designed for massive storage capacity, but not for efficient human retrieval.
I'm willing to push back on that a bit, because while yes, metadata tagging is superior, the user still has to consciously decide which tags to apply. That still requires discipline and a commitment to one of those smarter habits. If the user doesn't commit to the process, whether it's folders or tags, the data is still just a mess. If we wait for a tool that magically reads our minds and imposes structure without effort, we're going to be waiting forever. The current tools, if used with purpose, are more than sufficient. The failure is one of user follow-through.
I'd say the failure is an optimized friction. The technology should be designed to absorb our common tendency toward taking the easy way out. I mean, when we talk about digital mastery, we shouldn't be celebrating the one user who manages to tame a badly designed system. We should be demanding systems that require minimal taming to begin with.
And that systemic friction brings us directly to the platform's greatest failure: security. Let's talk about weak passwords. If choosing weak or reused passwords is cited as a common mistake, this is just a glaring failure of the platform allowing insecurity to exist. The technology is failing the person.
Okay, I agree that complexity enforcement is necessary, but I think the argument needs more nuance than just the system should be stricter. It's an interesting point, but I'd frame it differently. Even when systems enforce complexity, the critical failure point is still user behavior, specifically reusing passwords across different platforms. If I, as a user, decide to use one very strong password for 20 different services, even the best complexity checker has failed to secure my digital life. The technology can't account for that fundamental failure of personal strategy.
But your answer to that is a password manager, right?
The one actionable takeaway is about recognizing this and taking ownership, often through a password manager, which itself requires the behavioral habit of using it consistently. Yes.
But see, your reliance on password managers, which are just more organizational tools, it highlights the systemic failure. We're still asking the average person to manage and secure a whole separate application just to overcome the inadequacy of the platform's own security. We're in an age of passkeys, of FIDO2. Why is weak password entry even an option anymore? The solution isn't to tell people to be more careful, it's to adopt ubiquitous, strong authentication that makes the choice of a weak password irrelevant. We should demand systems that enforce security by default, making the safe path the easiest path.
And I appreciate the push toward FIDO2. It's a huge systemic improvement, but it doesn't completely remove user responsibility. It just shifts the burden. If we fully automate authentication with passkeys tied to a device, we introduce new failure points. Device security, device recovery, understanding when an app is trying to phish those passkeys. The ultimate point of failure is still the human making a real-time judgment call. If we remove all need for IT literacy, we create users who are entirely dependent on these opaque black boxes, unable to troubleshoot when things inevitably go wrong. The effort required is part of digital agency.
That just assumes an unacceptably high degree of failure tolerance. We shouldn't mandate that the average person needs to understand public key cryptography just to log into their bank safely.
I'm not saying they need to be an expert.
But the necessity of all this rigorous individual habit only exists because the tools mandate high friction. And that brings us right to our third contention: how we even define mastery. The whole premise of the material is summed up in its hook. You don't need more tech, you need to use it properly. This firmly defines mastery as the intentional application of existing tools.
I think that definition puts an unsustainable burden on the user. If mastery requires this extraordinary conscious effort, constant vigilance, just to avoid email overload, then the technology is fundamentally inefficient. The goal of workplace tech should be to reduce cognitive load and maximize human output on the actual job, not maximize time spent managing the tools themselves.
But the effort isn't just about survival. It's about extracting value. Think of a professional photographer. A simple point-and-shoot camera is easy, but to get sophisticated results, you have to master aperture, shutter speed, focus intentional, learned habits. Digital tools are the same. The effort required to adopt those 3 smarter habits is the essential prerequisite for achieving true digital well-being and extracting the full value from the software. Mastery in any field requires effort and discipline.
See, that analogy, it just breaks down when you really look at it. A high-end camera is a specific tool for a specific high-value creative task. Email and file storage are supposed to be ubiquitous utility tools, they're infrastructure. We don't require people to master the internal workings of a car's engine just to drive safely. We expect the car to be designed to be safe and intuitive by default. When utility tools require mastery just to prevent basic failure, that means they're unfit for purpose. The smarter way isn't a new habit, it's better technology that abstracts away the chaos.
But if we abstract away all the complexity, don't we risk diminishing user capability? The capacity to understand and manage your digital environment, to know why a sorting algorithm works or how to set up a filter, is a crucial component of modern agency. If technology becomes a totally opaque black box, we lose the ability to adapt or troubleshoot when the system inevitably fails. The struggle to adopt the habits actually builds necessary literacy.
Literacy is indispensable, but it should be focused on complex, creative tasks, not on digital janitorial duty. The reason we're even having this debate is that current technology requires this massive expenditure of user energy just to maintain the status quo. This high cognitive burden, it just confirms that tech is optimized for the designer's ease at the expense of the user's long-term well-being. The chaos is a symptom of that trade-off.
So to summarize my perspective, the path to digital well-being and productivity really demands individual initiative. The source material highlights specific, correctable failures and offers a clear, actionable path forward through those 3 smarter habits and the 1 actionable takeaway. The tools are here, they're powerful, they're sufficient. The intentionality, that has to be supplied by the user to achieve literacy and avoid digital chaos. The user must take responsibility.
And I'll maintain that while habits are a necessary factor, they are not the central solution. The high prevalence of digital chaos is proof that tools fail people by maximizing friction. True mastery requires shifting the debate toward better technology design. We need systems that minimize user friction, that enforce security by default, and that prevent organizational mistakes systemically, making the smarter way the only and easiest path forward. Until the environment is fixed, we're just asking users to perform heroics.
This tension between the undeniable need for individual discipline and the structural obligation of designers to create friction-free environments, it really illuminates 2 necessary interventions. We have to grapple with the true cost of this cognitive load and figure out the optimal balance between system responsibility and individual agency.
Indeed. And the material provides a rich framework for exploring exactly where we should draw that line.